You see, I have Doomsday Kingdom, issue 1 and 2 and 3. I have all 3. The first 3 so far. What just happened? What the fuck just happened? What was that? Did I miss something? Sorry guys, I don't know what happened. Yeah, this is Doomsday Kingdom. Yeah, moving on. Anyway, this is Doomsday Kingdom. It's a comic series made by a guy named Ronnie Hayes. He's got a YouTube channel called Make a Path Presents. I will link his channel in the video description if you want to check that out. He makes a lot of Walking Dead videos, and he's got his own comic series called Doomsday Kingdom. He does the script, and someone named James Mill, I think that's how you pronounce his name, does the artwork. So it's pretty much I think there's a few other guys involved, but it's he does the script, James Mill does the artwork, but you can buy Ronnie Hayes' comics on the Doomsday Kingdom website. Just look up Doomsday Kingdom. I think it's like doomsdaykingdom.com. And you can order these comics online. You can get them separately. You can get them signed by Ronnie Hayes or James Milne. You can get them as a bundle. You can get all 3 as a bundle. They come with some cool little things like cards and stuff like that. And they're really cool. I highly recommend them. The first 3 issues, it's just been amazing. I've loved every page, every panel, every line of dialogue, every bit of artwork. I love the story. I love the characters. I just love it. I'm just obsessed with Doomsday Kingdom. This is the next Walking Dead. It's going to be like the next Walking Dead, Game of Thrones type thing. It's just now sort of beginning, but it's going to get there. But yeah. Anyway, in this video, I am reviewing the first issue of Doomsday Kingdom, number 1, The Feeding Post. And right here we have who is sort of on again, off again, the main character. I don't really know that there is a main character. In the first issue, the writer is pretty much the leading character. And then in the second and third, it goes back in time to the very beginning. Because in this issue, I think it's a few years into the zombie apocalypse. And it's a zombie story, in case that's not obvious. But the first issue is a few years into it. And there's the writer, and he's kind of the lead character. And then the next 2, it shows the very beginning of the apocalypse when it first breaks out. And the main character is this guy right here, Tristan. Now you can make the argument that Tristan is the writer. However, that is unconfirmed at this moment. So, yeah. Anyway, before I rant any further, I am going to start my review of this issue. Now, I don't want to reveal too much in this issue. I will review some of the panels to sort of just, showcase the artwork style and the dialogue, and I have a lot to say about this very first page right here. But just to show some more of the comic, this is sort of the very first intro, just giving you some information. I love this artwork of the writer right here. That looks beautiful. And in the back, that light, god damn it. In the back, it's, the map symbol, and that's the link to the website where you can purchase the issues. There's a barcode, there's the writer hiding behind some zombies or creeps. He calls them creeps in the comics. I like this back. I like the way the back looks. And the second issue does the same thing with the back. Oh my god, that light. I'm sorry, I tried to plan for this, but some things just go wrong. But here's the back. Same thing. But in the third issue, he changes it to white. And I think it works better. That's just me. As far as an intro goes, and keep in mind, an intro to a comic series, and he wants this comic series, I think he said he wants it to be 200 issues. It may be 200, it may not be 200, but I think he wants it to be 200 issues, something to that effect. So, if you want a comic series to run that long, the Walking Dead comics hasn't even gone to 200 yet, and it's been going since 2003. It's close to issue 200, but hasn't quite gotten there yet. But really, in any comic series, whether you want it to be long-running or not, even if you just want it to be a 10-part mini-comic series, you want the very first panel to be engaging. You want the very first page of the comic to grab the audience's attention and to make them ask questions in their mind and wonder, what's going to happen next. I care about this. I'm engaged in this, and I believe this first page does a very, very good job of accomplishing that. It definitely accomplished that with me, because the first thing we see is the writer, and he's injured, and he's bleeding. He looks like he got an arrow through his arm. And there's another man, and we don't see his face, but he talks a lot. And that kind of gives him characterization, makes him interesting. And, there's a contrast between the writer and this guy. And, the writer, he's a little bit more vulgar, and he kind of talks sort of like a normal guy. And this guy, he seems to have maybe more of a vocabulary, someone that maybe used to be a doctor or something like that. That's just kind of the comparison. The two of these guys, they're very, very important in the first issue, and this issue is pretty much about them. So it makes sense that they would be different, that they would have sort of a different, they have this dynamic, and they're both different. And, the first bit of dialogue, who are you? Nobody. Now, we both know that isn't true. Everyone alive these days has become somebody. Now, I'm going to talk, and you're going to listen. Then you're going to talk, and I'm going to listen. That's great. That's just great. That's just a very unique back and forth between two characters that's just, I feel like that just instantly got my attention and made me really, really want to keep reading and find out what's happening, what's going to happen next. Who are these characters? And it also sort of gives you an idea that the world has ended. I mean, when you read this dialogue, I think you can't help but get a sense that this is like an end of the world type story. This is a dystopian, whatever the word is, type story. The world has ended. I mean, he literally says, everyone that's alive these days has become somebody. That tells you that, A, the world has ended and there's a sort of apocalypse thing going on. Maybe not necessarily zombies. You don't necessarily get that from the first page, but, you get that there's sort of an end of the world scenario going on. And B, anyone that's still alive in this world is someone that knows how to live, someone that's a survivor, someone that's not a victim. And that tells me that this takes place a few years into this end of the world scenario. So in just these first few bubbles, it conveys so much information. It tells you so much about the story that you need to know. And it tells you right away. It doesn't smack you over the head with it. It's subtle, but it's very effective. And it is correct. It's an end-of-the-world story. It's a zombie story. And pretty much, I think it's a few years into the apocalypse. It doesn't necessarily tell you that, but how could this not be a few years into the apocalypse? It just the grassy terrain and everything, it really looks like nature has taken over. Just look at how the grass is getting around that building. Nature has taken the world back. It's got to be a few years into the apocalypse. I'd be surprised if it wasn't. Like I said, it's not necessarily confirmed, but I think so. Maybe it has been confirmed. I don't know. I'm not sure. But, yeah. I really like how that dialogue conveys that information. And I like this. He says, I don't want to hurt your people. I want to protect mine. Those restraints, they're for our safety, not your captivity. We didn't attack you, just to make that clear. He's basically, this guy, he just seems unique. I mean, if someone gets injured in a movie and there's like a doctor character that's mysterious and that's tending to them. They're not usually that straightforward. It's usually more mysterious, more suspenseful. You know, like, is this a bad person? Is this a good person? And this guy's like, okay, no, just so we're clear, I'm not trying to kill you. I'm not trying to hurt you or your people. I just want to get to know you, and you're going to get to know me. Like, it just seems real. It just seems like a real person, like in real life, what a real person would say in this situation. You know, I'm not really trying to hurt you. I just want information, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And there's the writer with his long hair, and, you know, his injuries being taken care of. And look at this, just goddamn, look at this fucking page, look at this fucking panel. This is basically the second page of the comic. And who was your prisoner? Just someone who needed to die. I mean, this is just such an iconic panel. You know, like the first episode of The Walking Dead, you know, I don't want to be that guy that compares this to The Walking Dead 5 billion times. To be perfectly honest, I am unsure of how I can avoid doing that. This first issue has a lot of iconic panels in it. There's just a lot of moments that are just iconic. You know, the artwork is just iconic. You know, and it's important to do that. It's important to have iconic imagery in the first issue of your comic, so that it sticks with the audience's brains. You know, the first episode of The Walking Dead, you know, Rick Grimes, you know, he gets shot and he looks iconic. You know, the Walker girl, that's iconic. You know, the zombie that's I think it's called Bicycle Zombie. They're called Bicycle Zombie. You know, their legs are missing and they're on the ground. They look iconic. You know, Rick Grimes with his hat, with his sheriff hat and his Colt Python and his squinty eyes, he looks iconic. He looks like someone that you would want to make an action figure of. And they did that on purpose. I guarantee they did that on purpose. They made Rick Grimes look like someone that you would want an action figure of in the very first episode with his hat and his Colt Python. He has "Please make an action figure of me" written all over him. And, you know, that's an important thing. You know, you want your project to succeed. You know, so having at the very start someone that could be turned into an action figure, you know, action figures help with, you know, with sales, with awareness of the story. So, you know, if your main guy who gets action figures and cosplay and stuff like that, that helps the story. So you want that at the very start. You don't want to waste any time. You want that at the very start to help the project financially. And the writer, you know, that's another example. At the very beginning, at the very start, here's this guy that's just begging for an action figure. He's just like, "Please make an action figure of me," you know. And yeah, he looks badass. He just looks completely and utterly badass and unique. And the mask, the armor, you know, his eyes and everything, it just looks unique. I like to see an action figure of him someday, and an action figure of this guy with the bag on his head and everything, and the horse. Like this as just like a whole set, like a three pack set of the rider, the horse, and this guy. Because, you know, it's just iconic looking, and yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. The thing about the rider, and, you know, this is sort of, this is the part where I'm not really going to continue to show panels and panels and panels, because I don't want to spoil too much of the comic. I don't want to show the whole comic, you know, because then there's no point in anyone buying it. I'm just showing a few panels to hopefully convince people to go and check this issue out and buy it online and get it in the mail. I don't want to show every part of the comic, because that just sort of cheats. It's a cheat, you know, like you don't have to buy it yourself anymore. You know, you can just read it in this video. So I'm just sort of giving sneak peeks to help myself review the issue. But later on in the issue, the writer has a lot of moments where he just seems like he's a normal guy. He talks like a normal guy. He says curse words like shit, fuck, you know, fuck this, fuck that. He has moments where he's scared, where he thinks he's gonna die, where he looks like he's shitting his pants. There's one panel where he just looks so scared, and there's like beads of sweat coming down his forehead, I believe. And you know, he's not like a robot, you know. He's not that cliched superhuman main character. He's kind of like Indiana Jones. You know, that was sort of the main appeal of Indiana Jones when the first Indiana Jones movie came out. Indiana Jones, again, a lead character that you just look at him and you're like, this guy needs an action figure. And he's gotten plenty of action figures. And he's an action hero. And he goes on adventures and fights the bad guys and stuff like that. Now, personally, I'm not the biggest fan of Indiana Jones, but one of the things that was cool about him was that he was human. He got hurt. He had parts in the first movie where he got the shit beat out of him. And the writer's similar. You know, we already know that he's injured, and this is a flashback before he got injured. So this is the guy that gets hurt. He's human. He's like us, you know. He's flawed. He talks like a normal guy. And, you know, that's really cool, and that's really appealing to me. You know, he looks like he could have an action figure of him, but at the end of the day, he's just a normal guy. And yes, he's tough. He can kill zombies because he's been in the apocalypse, and, you know, he's a survivor, but he's still a human. You know, he still gets hurt, stuff like that. And that's something that I find very appealing. You can connect you can connect to the writer on an emotional level. You can relate to him. You know, even though he's a badass, and you want this guy as like an action figure, you know, maybe, but he's also human. Okay, so maybe I'll show one more panel. I was going to talk about this, and I decided the best way to talk about it is if I talk about it and show it, because it's a criticism. This is the only criticism I have of the entire issue. I am a huge, huge fan of these comics. I love it. I love it so damn much. I can't even put it into words. I loved every part of this first issue. I love every part of the second issue. I love every part of the third issue. And in some ways, it's going to be hard to make these reviews of the first three issues because there's not a lot for me to criticize. I love so much of it with every fiber of my being. You know, I just love it. You know, I'm a huge fan of these comics. This is the one big criticism. You know, this is it. Once I criticize this, I don't have anything else to criticize. So I have to kind of lean on praising it and talking about why I love it. And that's okay. You know, I mean, you can love the shit out of something and still review it. You just have to talk about the things you love. This is the one thing I didn't like. The one criticism I have. This block of text. And the reason I'm showing it is because I don't want to talk about it and you know, obviously I'm criticizing it, I'm being negative. I don't want you people that haven't read this issue, that haven't ordered this issue, to be like, oh no, a big block of text, too many words and one block of text. Well, now I don't want to order it. You know, I'm you know, this is it. You know, this is it. All right. So like, I've ripped the Band-Aid off. This is it. This is the criticism. Don't be scared. The issue is still worth the $3.99 that you can order it online. It might be like $6.99 or $7.99 now. Even then, it's still worth the money. I think it's the first issue you can get for $4 to $8, somewhere between there. And it's worth every fucking penny. Every fucking penny. With shipping, also, it's still worth every fucking penny. This is the only thing I'm criticizing. Just too much text. Too much text. Just when I first looked at this page, I was just like, oh my god. Like, it's not that it's a lot of text. It's just you need to divide it a little bit more. Like, this is basically, what is this? One paragraph, and that's kind of a second paragraph. That's just too many words in one paragraph. And most of these bubbles in this comic, it's, you know, a few sentences, maybe a paragraph, and then there's this monster of text that just, when you look at it, I've read this first issue twice, and both times when I looked at this, I was just like, oh my god, I don't want to read this. I want, you know, it's just like something in my brain was just like fighting it, like resisting. But, you know, you just have to fight through it, and you have to read it because it's very important. And the dialogue is good. The dialogue is good. I just think it should have been like maybe divided into several different squares. You know, the panel itself is good. You know, I like the guy's armor. You know, the reveal of this guy's armor. We don't really know who this guy is too much until this moment right here. And still, there's a lot of mystery. But this is the first panel where we see his armor and we see what he looks like with the armor on. You know, and I like the page. I just think that this right here, Maybe it should have been divided into like a couple of different squares, something like that. Maybe more space in between the paragraphs. Just something, some way to divide it up so it's not just this big, gigantic word thing. It's just a little much. It's just a bit much. But like I said, that's the only criticism I have of this entire issue. This is like a 30-page comic, a 30-page intro to this story, and I love everything about it other than this one little thing right here. This is my one criticism, my one nitpick. I literally can't think of a single other thing to criticize about this comic. The artwork is beautiful, gorgeous, just wonderful. The characters are awesome. It's colorful. There's some bad guys, there's some zombies, there's some cool action. The little sound effects aren't even that bad. Like, The Walking Dead has, like, when guns shoot, it's like braka, braka, braka. There's some lame sound effects, but these look cool. They're distinct. They look cool. That zombie looks cool. Okay, so I showed a little bit more, but I'm just trying to convince everyone to order this thing online. I love every part of this issue. I love it. I don't even know what I'm going to say about issue 2 and issue 3 because issue 2 and issue 3 don't have this. I love these comics so much. And I'm not sure if I went crazy at the beginning of this video. I might have gone a little batshit crazy and laughed like a clown. If I did that, and I'm not sure if I did that, but if I did that, it's because I just have so much love for Doomsday Kingdom. I have so much love for these comics. I literally can't contain myself. When I got issue 3 in the mail a few weeks ago, I was so happy and joyful. Just being able to put these 3 together was just wonderful. Because I had the first 2 for like 6 months now. And, if you guys want him to make comics faster, you can donate money to his channel. Buy the comics. Buying the comics helps. If you want issue 4 to come here faster, buy the comics. But I had the first 2 for 6 months, and then when I got the 3rd issue, I was just so gleeful and joyful. So, I'm kind of a maniac when it comes to Doomsday Kingdom. I kind of have a problem. I'm kind of obsessed. Anyway, that's pretty much the bulk of it. That's pretty much most of my review of the first issue. I think it's really good. I think it's just from start to finish. It's very engaging. The artwork is just beautiful. I can't say that enough. The artwork. James Milne, the artist, is just brilliant with this art. It's just great. It's so professional. It's amazing that you can't go to your local bookstore and get these comics because they should be there. That's how good the artwork is. The artwork is even better than I'd say a lot of the comics that you will find in your local bookstores. And right now you can pretty much just get it online. You can get these issues, the first 3, on the Doomsday Kingdom website, and you can also get them at comicsology.com. And there, I think maybe on both websites, Comicsology and the Doomsday Kingdom website, you can actually just download them. And you can read them online. So you don't even have to wait for them to ship to your mailbox. You can just read them instantly once you pay the money. So I loved it. Great first issue. It hits all the right marks, and I think it's fantastic. And I can't recommend it enough. I just think it's brilliant. It's a brilliant story. Great characters, great dialogue. Great moments, great action, great gore, great violence. If you like zombies, if you like the end of the world type stories, this is for you. If you like well-written characters, this is for you. It's just great. I love it. I love the first issue. But yeah, I'm gonna stop ranting about how much I love this, but it's really good. I really like it. If you like The Walking Dead, if you like The Walking Dead comics, if you like zombies in general, I would give the first issue, at least the first issue of Doomsday Kingdom, a chance, because once you start reading it, you just might get sucked in like I did. But yeah, that's pretty much my review. So with all that said, have you read this issue? Are you going to order it online? Just let me know what you think in the comments below. And don't be shy. Hit that like and subscribe. I'm not going anywhere. And right now we are at 370 subscribers. My goal is to try to get to 400 in the next few months. So we're getting there. We're just 30 away from 400. Can't wait to reach that 400 milestone. That's a big ass milestone. Just remember, every subscriber counts. Every bit of support matters and is very, very appreciated. Hopefully we will get to that goal of 400 in the next few months. Can't wait for that. But yeah, that's all I have. So with all that said, I'm Spencer Rhodes, and I will see you guys later. Bye!